Assalamu alaikum, girls. I am sorry. It keeps happening with me over the phone. I don't know. Plenty of people record over the phone and nothing happens, but mine seems to just whenever I get a call, it just seems to get it just the recording just stops all of itself. So forgive me for this interruption once again. Okay, and bear with me until I start doing it again with my laptop. All right. So I was talking about how there are multiple interpretations approached. First of all, one is that Benji has little sense of action and their effects on objects. There is how Benji perceives. He has he understands action. They do things and action happens, but you are made to wonder why, right? Because of the lack of an object to it, and again their effect on objects. So when someone uses a golf stick to hit, what is the effect created and what is the purpose of its effect? That seems to be, evading Benji's understanding. Okay, so Benji's perception of this particular aspect is compromised, and that is shown quite clearly in this description. The second interpretation is a descriptive circumlocution. Circumlocution is in the roundabout way of saying things. Well, yes, sometimes we have to resort to saying things in a roundabout manner. We have to sometimes forcibly excuse me, we are forced to say things indirectly, but that should not be normally the case, right? Remember what Bacon says: brevity is the soul of wit, right? Brevity is the soul of wit, in the sense you have to say it in a short, crisp manner so that people understand better. So when we dragging is not an art of speech at all. It shows the lack of the ability to understand, interpret, and convey. All right, there are some who expect you to drag a lot, but that's not the point. The point here is that there is a certain circumlocution, you know here, which indicates Benji's state of mind. For instance, for golf, he uses this hitting action. Again, for bush, instead of calling it a bush or a shrub, he calls it a flower tree. Again, the character's inability to perceive the world in socially acceptable ways is conveyed in these lines, okay, from a stylistic perspective. Again, further, a character's isolation is analyzed by stylistician in Auden's Capital by Ronald Carter. Uh, yeah. So this is Auden's The Capital. I want you to read it very clearly and very slowly and try to figure out what it says. Quarter of pleasures where the rich are always waiting expensively for miracles to happen. Oh, little restaurant where the lovers eat each other, cafe where exiles have established a malicious village. You with your charm and your apparatus have abolished the strictness of winter and the spring's compulsion. Far from you lights the outraged punitive father. The dullness of mere obedience here is apparent. Yet, with orchestras in glances, oh, you betray us to belief in our infinite powers, and the innocent, unobservant offender falls in a moment, victim to the heart's invisible furies. In unlighted streets, you hide away the appalling. Factories where lives are made for a temporary use, like collars or chairs, rooms where the lonely are battered, slowly like pebbles into fortuitous shapes. But the sky you illumine, your glow is visible far, into the dark countryside, the enormous, the frozen, where hinting of the forbidden, like a wicked uncle, night after night to the farmer's children you beckon. So what do you understand from this poem? The capital. Capital, simply put, is the capital. That is a city. Alright? And here, Auden is famous for writing very unique poems, the kind of poems that are that break tradition, that are always at standing against tradition. So in this poem, Auden argues against the life, the city life, the paradox of city life. Paradox of city life in the sense, see, it seems to provide you so many comforts. It tells you that the sky is the limit. If you just simply work hard, put your heart into it, you would be able to achieve just about anything, right? Thus the idea that any city projects you. Like, why do so many people travel to Bombay? Why do so many people travel to Madras? Because they believe in opportunities. They believe that the city provides opportunities that you don't get in villages. Well, to some extent, it may be true, but largely it's a mirage. It's just an illusion created by certain people or certain fake advertisements. That's all I can say. The point here Auden tries to make is that the city life, the capital, it's illusory. Okay, it tells you that it will provide you comforts. It gives you all sorts of hopes, right? But ultimately what happens is you are further broken down, you are further thrown into circumstances that are beyond your control. Always, of course, whether you're living in a city or a village, it does not matter. You're always a victim of your fates. But a city actually deludes you into believing that there are possibilities available which is not always the case. All right. So here a sense of isolation is created. A sense of isolation is created wherein you are told that you know, every time he speaks of you, look at these you, one sec, yeah. Now look at this. Where's that? You with your children, right? You with your charms, and then you betray us. You know, it's like man is working against mankind. You are made to feel that you are inseparable. You as in like the entire species of human beings. We are made to just a second. So you see in these lines, you with your charm and your apparatus have abolished the strictness of winter and the spring's compulsion. Far from your lights, the outraged punitive father, the dullness of mere obedience here is apparent. You know, far from these lights, far from the city life, what you find is a punitive father who is pretending to be strict, but he cannot be strict. That happens with all the fathers, right? I mean, Auden is using terms or ideas that are universal in nature, but and he compares them to what happens in the capital, how it seems to be, it is this innocence, this the innocent scolding of the father exists only far from the city lights, not within the city, not inside the city itself. Again he says of how the strictness of the winter is abolished. There is no longer strict winters because you have all these heaters, all those inventions, the industrial inventions that have brought about such progress, such development, which has made our lives easy. But at the same time, has it made life easy for everyone? That's another question he poses. Again, you see, yet with orchestras and glances, oh, you betray us. To believe in our infinite powers. So you see, in a capital, in a city, you're made to believe that you have certain power. You have infinite power, that you can do just about anything you want. You can win the race so long as you have, some skill, some talent. That is enough, right? You're made to believe that. But really, is that so? No, apparently not. To believe in our infinite powers, and the innocent, unobservant offender falls in a moment victim to the heart's invisible furies. Just an innocent bystander. That person may not have done anything. May have been absolutely innocent. He's just bystander. As someone who just stays on the sidelines, is totally uninvolved, and still that person becomes a victim just because someone else is angry, or someone else has all these jealousy and hatred and greed within them, that that makes this person gullible or vulnerable, right? Okay, So you see, the stylistician would analyze, I mean, we are talking not merely about in abstract terms here. The stylistician actually tells you that the use of words, the use of pronouns here would indicate that the sense of isolation is created wherein you are made to stand alone, that you, even though it's a universal problem, it pinpoints everything that you yourself have experienced in these in from among these analogies, right? So uh, then we'll move on to our next idea. Something's wrong, it's not moving. Yeah, so the next example is that of collocation. Yeah, what is collocation? I believe you have also worked out these examples in your grammar classes, wherein you are made uh, to write words, to choose words that are most appropriate to a certain phrase, right? Now, collocation is nothing but habitual or expected co-occurrence of words. Co-occurrence of words as in words that occur together, that come together. And these are made habitual by their usage. Okay, collocations come to be mainly because of their usage. So if a certain set of words, a phrase has been in use for some time, say for instance we are in a class, as in a normal class, not online classes, and say say for instance we are in a class and I ask you to bring in can you bring me a piece of, the moment I say do you have a piece of, immediately probably Sandhya would get up and say, yes ma'am, I have a chalk piece. Right? So this is what collocation is about. There is something that becomes habitual. Okay, I need not say the entire phrase, I need not use the entire sentence. It is automatically assumed that this is what the end of the sentence means. I may be coming for, do you have a piece of paper? It could be, okay, of course it could not be a piece of pen, you cannot have pieces of pen, but then it could be a piece of paper, it could be a piece of chalk, it could be a piece of probably cake. Yeah, no, in a classroom setting it would only be a piece of paper or a piece of chalk, right? So this is what collocation implies. So a stylistician would actually look into the collocations as well.